Hey guys, SOB here, and I'm going to go over the PvP build for the Enterprise J. So, getting right into it, I've got the Terran beam on. I decided to use phasers. I know they're not completely ideal, but it was this or coalitions, and my coalitions are pretty worthless in PvP when people can remove the debuff so easily, so phasers can at least maybe shut a subsystem off, which is bad if they're running the Terran engines, so really just toss on whatever beams you have. Most of these are damage 3 pen, but I've got some crit D3 over beams tossed in. I'm running the Iconian 4-piece. Now, this is not ideal. If I wanted something tankier, there's like the Kabali, Lucari, there's quite a few other options. The Terran engines would give me a nice bit of resistance, so I'll probably go for those if I decide to keep this build. Device-wise, it's all healing, so it's Reactive Armor Catalyst, Whole Patch, and then the Temporal Negotiator. Console-wise, the console off of the ship itself, the Energy Distributor Accelerator. It's good, it's got a nice team buff, and it helps reduce the cooldown on that Lance, which is good because Lance kills are good. The Trellium D plating, you could use a different resistance console, you could use a conductive RCS, you could use whatever else there you wanted. I was just messing with this, and it's been working, so it's there. This isn't exactly a DPS build, this is a very heavy PvP tank setup. Well, trying to be at least. The dynamic power redistributor module. So that's got the damage buff and it's got healing on it. Bonus damage resistance, pretty huge. When I hit that, you see my resistances just go through the roof there. That's pretty good. And it's on a minute 20 cooldown because I've got the 3-piece on. And the whole regen is very good with the Lucari console, which I discussed in the previous video and I think on Reddit. The 4th engineering console is the secondary shield projector. This is part of that set with the dynamic power redistributor module. This is very powerful in PvP. I don't know how many are using it, but as you can read there, it's reduces damage to your shields, improves your shield heals. It gives you some secondary shielding, and it removes debuffs from yourself and your teammates once every 3 seconds for 30 seconds. So if you have just a few people in your team running the set, I mean, you could have it up basically constantly with just, 3 people? But, I mean, it's something that having everyone on the team using would be pretty beneficial. Moving to science consoles, the shielded data core for the physical resist, EPG control. Well, the control X and EPG aren't that important here, but the physical resistance is. The plasmonic leech console, of course, because I still want some power. And then the subspace jump console. So this might confuse some people why I have this on. And I just started using this one after some of the videos the other day. It's so I can jump behind someone and lance them. That's literally the entire reason it's on. Because I wanted to get more lance kills. You could use whatever there. TAC consoles, the Kabali RIF, of course. The Lucari console I already mentioned. The Iconian Reputation Sustained Radiant Field. That's, for the healing buff. And then the NX console Point Defense Warhead. I mean, it's not that great in PvP. It's just there for part of the set. It's the 3rd piece in the set to give a cooldown reduction to the Dynamic Power Redistributor module and the Extend Secondary Shields consoles. the hangar pets. You could use runabouts, they'd probably be better, but I just have the elite Cestus fighters on. The channel deconstruction builds up for the pets themselves. I don't think it builds up entropy for you, so yeah. Skills. Temporal primary or pilot primary either work with strategist secondary. With the Lucari console in that dynamic power console I mentioned, one of the reasons I'm running this skill tree was specifically to get my HP up there quite a bit, and it's just sitting here. It's at 102,000, so threatening stance on, that'll take it up to, like 150, 160. If I prop a prototype of Blade of Jevenite device on, that'll give me a bit more. I'll actually pull one of those up here. Yeah, I've still got some. So that's why I have 3 points in the whole capacity, and I'm wanting to heal as much as possible, so whole restoration's maxed. Improved EPS, impulse, expertise, and then engineering readiness. Then it's running a SILT setup, so it's got 27 points there. And tactical was a bit difficult to figure out because I still wanted to do some DPS with this, and this build actually did like 252. Well, not this specific setup, but with this skill tree, it still did 252 in ISA and that 330k in Hive, so it's not the worst thing ever, but it could be better. So advanced energy weapon training, weapon amplification, improved weapon specialization, improved whole pen, and tactical readiness. The skill tree sort of sucks. I know that. I don't recommend this one. I mean, I've got a SILT tree I recommend up on Reddit, but that's for PvE. So, if you want to do this in PvP, maybe take those whole capacity points out and do something else. Maybe, shield weakening, maybe a little defense accuracy, who knows. Traits. So it's very defensive for the most part. Ablative shell, intense focus, particle manipulator. I mean, I don't really have many exotic abilities on here. It's basically just the lance and anti-time entanglement, so I figure some buff for that is still better than nothing. A good day to die, because this is on attack. Self-modulating fire for shield pen. Biotech patch for the whole healing. Superior elusive for the defense. Give your all to dodge some of the incoming damage. And superior techie just for another little bit of whole healing buff. Starship traits. I was messing with repair mode in most of those videos. The disable really screws you over. I wouldn't recommend this trait. Cryptic needs to change it. So you could run desperate repairs, whatever. The best defense, of course. Great trait. Invincible, of course. Synergistic restoration. This is off of the Quas, the Iconian Cruiser. It's the cheaper one in the lockbox, so... Well, it's not cheap now, but it's the one that's supposed to be easier to get. Yeah, it's decent. I haven't used it enough, but I've put it on just to see how it does. And then for right now, I just had a Mercy Weapon Cycle on. I think in a lot of those runs, I had all hands on deck or desperate repairs. There's a few different things you could do. They're about to nerf the immunities, so if you want to do pilot, you probably wouldn't want to do like improved temporal insight. Oh, I didn't fix these. Okay. So I think I had the crit chance and severity on still. I might have had energy refrequencer on. I think, yeah, I dropped the offense for the defense. And what else did I do? I think I was messing with that. The automated protomatter conduits, because it's basically up half the time if you're being shot at, so it's just a bit of extra healing. Yeah, I think that's what I was running. Stations, a fire at will 1, rally point marker 1, and then chaining Omega and Delta. of course, attack team. Emergency power to engines 1 with the DOF. Causal reversion, Eng team 3, Ox to Sif 3, emergency power to weapons 1. Now, I know there's a DOF, or not a DOF, one of the Starship Traits for emergency power to shields that's apparently pretty good in PvP, but I'm not going to go out and buy a 3000 Zen ship just for that. I don't do enough PvP to bother with that, so I'll just leave that on for now. Reverse shield polarity 1. Then science team 1. That triggers that synergistic trait I use. I don't know if RSP does. I haven't actually really tested it at all. Well, that much, or paid attention, I should say. Hazard emitters 2. Yeah, pretty common stuff. I'd hope for, like, tanks. DOF-wise, emergency con hologram, which I already mentioned. On a cool warfare specialist that will heal you based on outgoing damage. Well, it's a chance to, for like, what is it? Yeah, 20% chance when activating engineering bridge officer abilities, 10% of the next 10 sources of outgoing damage applied as whole healing, so it's not the greatest thing ever, but it's something. Keel L is a must for the debuff removal. For those of you that don't know, the way they have emergency power to subsystem abilities coded in the game is that they technically give you power in 4 pulses over 2 seconds. So Keel L has a 40% chance to trigger on each tick. So that's why he basically always goes off. The rare version does also, but Keel L is very good. If you're doing PvP, it's just a must-have. Then, of course, RSP DOF. One of those damage control engineers to placate the next attacker when you use Ox to Sif. That's pretty good. It annoys a lot of people, so I use it. I hate when I deal with it, but that's why you gotta use it. If you hate it, then you really gotta use it. And the 6th DOF you can do whatever with. Like, you could do emergency power to Ox with the maintenance engineers to increase your whole healing and shield healing, I believe. What are those? I gotta go look. Yeah, I should have had some of this ready before I went, but yeah. I've got purples on other characters, but I've only got rares on this one. So when you use emergency power to Ox, you can use up to 3 of these at a time. The purples are plus 25, so using 3 of those would take you up to plus 75 on shield emitters and hull repair, which would buff your heals up quite a bit. But yeah, I've just got the astrometric scientist with a chance to apply an additional heal after hazard emitters on, so it works sometimes. Just good enough. I feel like I'm missing something. What am I? Oh, let's pop this. Let's see what the HP goes to. 123,000. Almost 124. And then you turn Threatening Stance on. You get shot at, and you get up to 10 stacks of that. Yeah. That's a 50% HP increase, so it applies on base, but that would take you up to 170, 180. You can get the thing up a bit higher with traits too if you really want, but that's a bit of work. Let me actually see here. I'm bored enough. Let's do this before I end the video. Fortified hull. Let's see how high we can get this. Bioneural does it. Let's just take that off. And that one does it. Where's the battery? Here it is. So I'll just hit these and see how high we can get. It's not that bad in PvP. Being shot at, then you get up really high, but yeah. Okay, I think I'm burning through time and I don't know what else to talk about, so thank you all for watching. I hope you've learned something new. And seen how this build isn't exactly the most optimal thing ever for PvP, but it gets the job done somehow. So, yeah, if you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments down below. If you want to tell me how bad this build is, go for it, because it's bad and I know it's bad. Enjoy.